All right, guys, I'm going to be breaking down every big trade that happened. I'm not going to be talking about Kevin Huerter. I'm not going to be talking about Keon Ellis or Dennis Schroeder. Who cares? I'm talking about the real guys, the all-stars, right? The Garlands, Harden, Vucevic, Jaren Jackson. Those three major trades that happened today were absolutely massive. I'm going to break that down. Before I break that down, like and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Clippers first, right? The Cavaliers fleeced, they absolutely fleeced the Clippers. And I'm a Clippers fan. I'm sorry to say it. They fleeced them. I didn't know today was national shit on James Harden Day. Everybody's saying James Harden's a quitter. James Harden sucks. That's why he never wins championships. He wants to quit another team. When did this happen? James Harden, as a Clipper fan, James Harden has been playing throughout the whole entire season. It doesn't matter if he's banged up. It doesn't matter if it's a back-to-back at 36 years old. He's playing 36 to 40 minutes every single game. And you have to appreciate that. The best ability is availability. And that's what James Harden is, right? When Kawhi Leonard was hurt with his knee soreness, when Kawhi Leonard's hurt, what happens? We have James Harden only, right? Paul George and Kawhi Leonard didn't work out because both guys were very, very inactive. But now you bring James Harden in the mix. Paul George is gone. James Harden brings that stability as a superstar player for that Los Angeles Clippers. And I'm very happy he was a Clipper because I'm a huge James Harden fan when he's with the Rockets. Now with the Clippers, as a Clipper fan, I'm very excited for him. But now he goes to Cleveland Cavaliers and they fleeced this trade because Darius Garland, I'm sorry, Darius Garland is not a great player. You're getting rid of a 25-8 player from like James Harden, and you're getting a 20 or 19 points a game, 7 assist guy. Darius Garland the next 10 years can play 48 minutes a game, and he'll never average 25-8, right? His ceiling is 19-8, 19-7, 20-8, 20-7. That's his ceiling, right? Is he ever going to be a top 10 point guard in the NBA? No. Is he always injured? Yes. Why did they get him? Because he's younger. He's 26 years old. Okay, but if you're not playing, if you're not playing, why is this considered a good trade for the Clippers? Because they get younger. Is Kawhi Leonard happy about this trade that you only got Darius Garland for a guy like James Harden, the player the caliber of James Harden? Are you happy if you're Kawhi Leonard to get Darius Garland? Zubac, do you want Darius Garland to throw you lobs, or you rather have pick and roll maestro James Harden throwing you lobs? Right. The thing about Darius Garland also is I realized Donovan Mitchell, he hated his life when Darius Garland played because he's looking at Darius Garland, right? When Donovan Mitchell's in the corner, sitting in the corner, ready to shoot, right? And it was like 10 seconds left. He sees Darius Garland dribble and dribble and dribble, call the screen for Evan Mobley or Jared Allen. He's probably thinking, why the fuck do I not have the ball? Why do we give the ball to this freaking twerp, Darius Garland? That's probably what he's thinking. I'm so much better than him. Why do I have to give him the ball? And now Donovan Mitchell has James Harden and knows that James Harden's a pick and roll maestro, one of the top three best pick and roll players ever, right? Ever. He reads every coverage. He gets doubled off a pick and rolls. He can throw that little pocket pass. He can skip it all the way across to the corner. He knows what every coverage is in every pick and roll defense, and he's that good. He can at least trust him, right? He can trust James Harden. He's not trusting Darius Garland in the playoffs. Where was Darius Garland in the playoffs against the Pacers? Right? If you're losing the Pacers in the playoffs, and no offense to the Pacers that end up going to the finals, that's not a good enough team to beat. That's not a good enough team to beat to win a championship. They're looking for a championship right now, right? Because this is their opportunity before they pay before Evan Mobley's salary kicks in, right? Uh before Donovan Mitchell enters out of his prime. James Harden's already out of his prime, but when Donovan Mitchell turns 32, 33 years old, what's going to happen? Do you still want to sit on 29, 30-year-old Darius Garland? Do you really want that? You don't want that. You'd rather have a guy like James Harden have 2 years to win a championship, go all in right now, and that's what they're going to do, right? They're trying to acquire Giannis, everybody says, and the sources say, not everybody, but the sources say they're trying to acquire Giannis. Maybe that'll help them as well. Maybe get rid of Evan Mobley, get Giannis in, 31 years old, 30 years old, whatever Giannis is, and that'll help the team. But I think the Clippers definitely lost this trade. They definitely lost this trade. Darius Garland is not even close to the caliber of James Harden at this day and age. And we're saying that we're shitting on James Harden. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. Let's next talk about Nikola Vucevic, right? Let's next talk about Nikola Vucevic. Let's talk about Jaren Jackson, actually. Fuck it. Jaren Jackson gets traded to the Utah Jazz from the Grizzlies. This is a great trade for both teams. Why is it a great trade for Memphis Grizzlies? You get 3 first-round picks. You get rid of Jaren Jackson, who was asking for the Supermax, right? Vince Williams and John Morant were giving each other headaches. So you get rid of some leftover garbage, but you have Jaren Jackson off the books now for the Supermax. You know you're not going to win a championship. Why do you pay a Supermax to a guy with Jaren Jackson and limit your team, right? With no cap space. You can only have selective free agency signings because of the cap space problems if the Supermax happens with Jaren Jackson. But now you can rebuild, reboot, right? They got rid of Dylan Brooks was a huge miss by them. Everybody, they heard the media, the GM, the owner. They're like, we listen to the media. Dylan Brooks is bad for our team. He's a cancer. He woke up the beast, LeBron. That's why we lost. No, you guys lost because you guys were outmatched and you guys were young. You guys should have run it back and see how much better you would have gotten. You were the second seed overall. I know injuries played a factor with Jaren Jackson. I know injuries played a factor with John Morant. But you guys were young, but you got rid of Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks went to Houston. Houston became the second overall seed. And now he's in Suns, and now Suns are in a top 5 seed. So what does it show you about Dylan Brooks, how good of a player he is? Next, they get rid of Dylan Brooks. They get rid of Desmond Bane. That team is broken now. That team is over with. You signed Ty Jerome. Ty Jerome's a new rebuild for them. Ty Jerome's a really, really good player. You have Ty Jerome there. You have Zach Edey, right? You try to build around Coward and Jalen Wells. That's what you try to build around. Let's see how much better we can get. You get the 3 first-round picks from the Utah Jazz. That's going to help a lot. And why is it good for the Utah Jazz? You get Jaren Jackson. Jaren Jackson is a really, really good player, right? An all-star caliber player. And they can't draft. The Utah Jazz cannot draft to save their lives. I mean, they're drafting Cody Williams, right? They're drafting Walter Clayton, who doesn't play, who's in this trade. They're drafting Taylor Hendricks, that's in this trade. They don't know how to draft to save their life, and that's a problem for the Utah Jazz. So they're like, all right, let's not draft anymore. Let's just give you 3 first-round picks. Let's get a player that we know is going to work out and be bona fide. And they're saying that Jaren Jackson will be playing the 5. That's a very bad idea. They should be playing Lauri Markkanen at the 3, at the 4, Jaren Jackson, and at the 5, Walker Kessler / Filipowski. That's what the 5, the front court should be, because Jaren Jackson can't rebound worth the shit. This guy's 7 foot, only gets 5 rebounds a game. He's allergic to toughness, and that's the problem. But he's a good player. He's a really good player, but he's allergic to being gritty and getting the ball off the rim. That's it. But Jaren Jackson is a very good player. I think this trade benefits both teams. Now you can run Keontae George, Isaiah Collier, right? Is Isaiah Collier even that good? I know we had a 17 and 22 game today. Is he that good? I don't think so. But you have Keontae George, Ace Bailey, Lauri Markkanen, Jaren Jackson, Walker Kessler, Filipowski. Your team looking solid now. It's looking like an actual NBA team that can compete for a playoff position. Maybe not this year, but next year for sure. This year they have a really bad record, so next year for sure. But great trade by both teams, right? You get rid of a potential Supermax deal with the Memphis Grizzlies and Jaren Jackson, who's probably going to walk if he doesn't get a Supermax. And you get 3 first-round picks for him. That's big. That's really, really big, right? Nikola should be Shams. So now, excuse me, shit. Oh, my God. The Bulls trade Nikola Vucevic to the Boston Celtics for Anthony Simons and a 2nd-round pick. Great trade by the Celtics, right? The Celtics made a great trade. Vucevic has been the hottest player to get besides Miles Turner for the past 5 years. Everybody said, who's going to get Vucevic? Who's going to get him from Chicago? Who's going to get him from Chicago? Who's going to get him from Orlando? Who's going to get this former All-Star? And finally, he gets traded. He goes to the Boston Celtics, and this is a great trade for him. Anthony Simons goes to the Bulls, obviously, I think, to create cap space because he's on a 1-year deal. And they get a 2nd-round pick also for him. That 2nd-round pick really doesn't do anything, but it's better than having Anthony Simons on your team, right? Because Nikola Vucevic, he plays very hard. He plays well. He rebounds, averages 19 and 10, can shoot the ball. They needed that because Neemias Queta doesn't provide that. They have Luka Garza, but Luka Garza can't play defense as the backup center. He can't play any defense, but you have now Nikola Vucevic, who can play defense. He can block shots. He can rebound really well. He can shoot the ball. He's a very, very solid player. I really like this trade for the Celtics. The Celtics 100% won this trade. The Bulls now have 5 guards, right? They have like Terry Jones, Trey Jones, Ayo Dosunmu, Kobe White, Josh Giddey. They have a lot of guards over there. They need to figure out what to do with Anthony Simons. I'm guessing he's probably going to get released or bought out of his contract to go somewhere else. But again, I think that Anthony Simons going to the Celtics was kind of a bad trade for them. But they got rid of Drew Holiday's contract, so it makes sense. But Anthony Simons doesn't really help because he wanted to start over Peyton Pritchard, and he's not good enough. And it shows his character because he wanted to get traded out of a team that's second in the East. That shows how much he cares about winning. But there you go. That's hope you guys enjoyed my video. Like, subscribe. Thank you so much. Have a good one.